My name is Arushi, and I live in Queensland, Australia. Back in 2022, after a weekend beach trip, I noticed a small, itchy bump on my ankle, just a tiny boil, nothing alarming. I assumed it was a bug bite and ignored it, but within 2 days, it had doubled in size and started to feel alive, like something was moving underneath. By the third night, the skin around it was numb, and a strange pale fluid with tiny black dots began oozing out. Terrified, I rushed to the hospital, where the doctor calmly said they needed to make a small incision, but I could see in his eyes that something wasn't too right. The moment they cut into it, the nightmare exploded literally. Dozens of tiny live spiders burst out from under my skin, crawling over my leg and onto the table. A nurse screamed, and I sat frozen, unable to comprehend what was happening. The doctor sedated me and later told me a wolf spider had likely laid eggs under my skin while I was sleeping on the beach, a rare but not impossible event. I had become an incubator. For weeks, I couldn't sleep, haunted by the thought of spiders nesting inside me, and even now, I still get phantom itches on that spot. But the worst part, the doctor said, we got most of them, we think. It started with a soft scratching sound barely there, like a whisper, but it was coming from inside my head. At first, I thought I was just tired or maybe getting an ear infection. But by the second night, I could swear something was moving in my ear canal. My name is Lauren, and I live in Missouri, USA, where brown recluse spiders are not uncommon. But nothing prepared me for what I was about to experience. The sensation wasn't constant, it came in waves, a faint tickling deep inside, like something brushing against my eardrum. I tried cleaning my ear, shaking my head, even flushing it with warm water, but the feeling only grew stronger. By the third night, I was practically going insane. I couldn't sleep, couldn't concentrate, and every time I closed my eyes, I imagined legs crawling around inside my skull. I finally went to there, and the nurse who took a look immediately turned pale. I think there's something in there, she whispered, stepping back from me like I was contagious. A doctor came in, leaned in with an otoscope, then muttered, "You're going to want to stay very still." I froze. He called for forceps and irrigation, and then, with surgical calm, reached into my ear. I could feel pressure, and then a sudden sting of movement, like whatever it was realized it was being evicted. A second later, I felt a sickening pop and something slide free. That's when I saw the nurse step back in horror. Clutched in the doctor's gloved hand was a brown recluse spider, still twitching, covered in a slick mix of fluid and earwax. The doctor explained that it had likely crawled in while I was asleep and had been living in there for days. Recluse spiders are venomous, and one bite near the eardrum could have caused permanent hearing loss or worse, necrosis inside my head. For a week afterward, I kept wondering if it had laid eggs. If there were more, they assured me it hadn't, but I still can't sleep without earplugs. Every small sound now feels like it's coming from within. And sometimes when the night is dead silent, I still hear the scratching. People laughed the first time it happened. They made memes, jokes, even news headlines, but no one talks about what it does to you mentally. When something like that happens again, my name is Jordan, and yes, I'm the guy who got bitten on the balls by a spider, twice, both times while using a portable toilet onto different job sites in Sydney. The first bite was from a redback spider hiding under the toilet seat, intense burning pain, swelling, and a trip to the ER where the nurse couldn't even keep a straight face. I told myself it was a freak accident, just bad luck. But 10 months later, it happened again. Same pain, same spider species, same place, different porta potty. That moment broke something in me. You expect danger in the bush, not while taking a piss. After the second bite, I started having panic attacks anytime I needed the toilet. I'd check under the seat with a flashlight, bang the plastic walls like a madman, even avoid drinking water so I wouldn't have to go at all. But the fear didn't stop there, it followed me. I started seeing spiders where there were none. At night, I'd wake up clawing at my sheets, convinced there was something crawling over me. My mates joke about me having arachnophobia of the balls, but what they don't get is that it is not the spider that haunts me. It's the idea that something so small, so hidden, can find you twice in the most vulnerable moment of your life. Doctors gave me anti-venom, but nothing for the paranoia. I tried switching jobs, but even at new sites, the portable toilets feel like loaded traps. And now, every time I feel the tiniest itch down there, my heart starts pounding. The second bite healed. The fear didn't, because once you've been hunted in a place no predator should ever reach, you stop feeling safe anywhere. We thought we'd found our dream home, 3 bedrooms, a big backyard, just outside St. Louis, tucked in a quiet cul-de-sac. My wife and I moved in with our 2 kids, excited to finally settle down. The first few spiders didn't bother me. It's Missouri, you get bugs. But it wasn't just 1 or 2. Within weeks, they were everywhere. Brown recluses curled in corners, slipping out of vents, behind picture frames, even inside the alarm clock. One night, I reached for my toothbrush and one skittered out from the bristles. My daughter woke up screaming. After finding to crawling across her pillow, we sealed cracks, sprayed repellents, called pest control. It didn't matter. The exterminator said he'd never seen anything like it. They're in the walls, he muttered. Flashlight trembling, thousands of them. At night, we'd hear faint tapping inside the drywall like tiny legs tapping in unison. We stopped using the basement after spotting nearly 50 in a single evening. I set glue traps each morning. They were covered in a writhing mass of legs and brown bodies. One afternoon, I saw a small, dried blood trail near the kitchen baseboards. I followed it and found a dead mouse, half consumed by spiders. That was the breaking point. My wife refused to sleep another night there. We packed and left, just like that, midweek, like we were fleeing a war zone. Later, we learned the previous owners had sued the builder, but quietly settled. They never disclosed the infestation. They just passed it on. Sometimes I wonder if the spiders ever noticed we were gone or if they just kept multiplying, waiting behind the walls for the next family to come home. Because that house doesn't need owners. It already has thousands of them. It was just a normal grocery run: milk, cereal, bananas. I picked them off the shelf at the supermarket without a second thought. They looked perfectly fine, maybe a bit to right, but nothing unusual. When I got home, I dropped the bag on the counter, and that's when I noticed it. One of the bananas seemed to have a thin, grayish patch near the stem, almost like a webbing, but not like any cobweb I'd ever seen. I leaned in to inspect it, and the patch pulsed. I froze. I wasn't imagining it. The skin of the banana moved again just slightly, but enough for my stomach to twist. I grabbed my phone to record it, but before I could unlock the screen, the patch burst open. Dozens of tiny, fast-moving spiders poured out like liquid, spreading across the counter in seconds. I stumbled back and fell against the fridge, screaming. They were everywhere under the toaster, across the floor, disappearing into cracks. I managed to trap a few under a glass jar and called pest control, hands shaking. When they arrived, they immediately took one look and called their supervisor. The verdict: a nest of Brazilian wandering spider hatchlings, one of the most venomous species in the world. One bite from an adult can kill a human in under 2 hours. I was told I was extremely lucky the eggs hatched outside the fridge, and not inside after I opened one. For days after, I kept checking the cupboards, corners, ceiling, anywhere they could hide. My skin constantly itched, and I barely slept. Every shadow looked like legs. Every rustle sounded like a swarm. The store apologized, refunded me, sent a fruit basket, but I haven't bought bananas since. And even now, sometimes late at night, I think I see something twitch in the fruit bowl, and I wonder if I really caught them all.